Hello, everyone. We hope you're doing well. As an introduction, my name is Neha Gupta.
And my name is Catherine Mulcaster, and we are the co-founders of Dimensions Magazine.
Yeah, so today we're going to be hosting a conversation with Paula. And Paula, we're going to ask you to give a short introduction of yourself to our viewers.
Well, my name is Paula, also known as Hex in the Lab. And about February of this year, I started a new project about science spreading because I feel like it's really important to give people that don't have the opportunity of learning to give them the opportunity of from their phones going to my account and learn something new every day. Yeah. I don't know because I don't have much to say about that because basically with the questions that you sent me, I'm gonna say everything. So
That's great. Yeah. So we'll get right into some questions that we have for you. And Catherine will start out.
Okay, awesome. So we know that you have a passion for medicine, and we were just wondering where, when, and kind of what experience did this arise?
well, I feel like careers like medicine are such a long-term goal, and I feel like they're really vocational, and I don't have a specific time or experience or something like that where I was like, oh, I want to be a doctor now. I've always wanted to be one. I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of doctors that I've seen, on interviews and all that, most of them they say that it's vocational and that they have always known that they wanted to be that. So
Yeah, that's really cool. Like so many people just naturally have a passion for medicine and for science in general. And that's great that you've always had this passion because that's something that some people don't have a lot of the times. Um,
yeah.
yeah, we have another question that relates to kind of your career. What advice might you give to those who are doubtful seeing medicine as a career plan, who might not see it as something they want to go into? What advice might you give them to encourage them to go into medicine?
Well, for that people that is in that situation, I feel like medicine is not the best choice because as I said before, is something really vocational that you have to wake up every day for a lot of years, for going to school, for to uni and all that, learn like books like this about, and if you don't like it, I feel like it's worse than hell for you. So, and not only that, imagine that you finish that long career, now you start working and you have to wake up every day like a lot of hours, even you have to sleep there a lot of times. So if you don't like it, I feel like that's not the lifestyle you want to choose.
Yeah, for sure. And I think medicine is one of those things as well that it's because it's so time consuming, you really have to be kind of like all in or not. Um, and the other thing is with medicine and STEM, there are different career paths. Like there are some kind of variations, not necessarily the same thing, obviously, but there are some different things that you can do with things like STEM. So that's awesome. We were wondering because we are like in all currently everyone in our organization is female, and we just kind of were wondering who is one woman that you look up to and why.
Um, well, I would say that when I was little, well, my aunt is a surgeon, and I would say that looking at her and having someone that has this lifestyle that I told you before, I feel like it kind of helps you for, being real. Like it's like, because if you put Netflix, you put, I don't know, Grey's Anatomy, and a lot of people go like, oh my God, this is so cool, and and they start, oh, now I want to be a doctor, It's like when you put, I don't know, the blacklist, and you want to be from the FBI, same thing. So I feel like you should not go for the trend, because as I said before, it's not like Grey's Anatomy, and it's a lot harder than that. And I feel like having someone, or just watching real situations that you're gonna see, and you're gonna be like, okay, should I go for this or not? Having like a real idea of what it is to be a doctor. That's really important. That's why I do in my account, I have a section of takeovers. That's why I do them. So my followers go there and they're like, okay, what's like to be an actual nurse? What's like to be an actual doctor, so they don't get confused because of this series and all that. So I would say that my aunt was important in the process, but I feel like, well, lately I've been, very busy with exams and that. But not too long ago, I wrote an article about Elizabeth Blackwell. I don't know if you know who it is, but I feel like it's not a name that you hear every day, And I feel like, I don't know, it's a woman that, obviously, for doing the article, I did a lot of research to know a lot about her life and that. And when I was reading it, I was like really shocked, because I was like, okay, we are in that, like in that time ago. And thinking about a woman being a doctor and all the things that she had to do for being one is kind of like impressing. So I would say her.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's so good that we have other people who have kind of been those trailblazers in different fields of science, especially women that have had to kind of like trace that journey for themselves and navigate how to pursue a career path that might not have been accessible to them. Another question that I have for you is, as a woman and a girl in science and STEM, have you ever felt discouraged in trying to pursue medicine, or have you ever felt that you've been held back in the field?
Well, obviously, it's not like you don't see everyday girls in STEM. Well, now it's like it's been a trend and an initiative of a lot of accounts and projects about women in STEM and all of that. But I feel like in real life, it's not like that, because, well, for example, if you look at my class, they're all boys, and we're like, what, out of 30, we're like, what, 6 girls? It's like crazy. But I feel like, well, I think I've never said, oh, I'm a woman, I'm not gonna do this, because especially in medicine, because I know there are other careers, like, for example, engineering or something like that, where a lot of women say like, oh, being an engineer and being a woman. But I feel like in medicine is not that, you know, separated. I don't know. I feel like I'm lucky that I'm not in one of those careers that are that, I don't know, sexist, you can say. So yeah, I've never felt that way.
That's good. I know, because lots of young girls see science as something that they can't pursue because of existing gender stereotypes. So it's great that you haven't felt that pressure to conform to what sometimes ends up being the rhetoric of other people, and now that can imprison some girls to not go into science.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and just kind of backpacking off of Nihat, I completely agree with the kind of engineering idea, because I myself I'm in high school right now, and engineering is something that it's a career path that I'm considering, but also the gender gap between in engineering is so much bigger than in something else like medicine. So I completely understand where you're coming from with that. But yeah, so for our next question, we were just kind of wondering because with X in the Lab, you've done quite a lot. So we were just wondering, do you consider yourself like an entrepreneur with X in the Lab? And um, even if you don't feel like you are, can you just tell us a little bit more about this initiative?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I kind of because if you search the definition, it's like I don't know, just starting something new, like a project, and going for it and putting all your passion on it. So I feel like I kind of am one because, well, as I said before, I created my project not too long ago. Like it was, I think, well, it was on February of this year, and I just started from zero, everything, and I was just on a walk. I was on the street, and I was like, well, I'm really stressed with the course. And I started to think, this afternoons that you're like, oh my god, I should be, I don't know, like I should create a super big project of science. So I was there and I was like, okay, let's do it. Why not? And I was thinking about it because I wanted to do it, but I was like, okay, I'm already stressed with all the course and everything. And also now with COVID, everything is more difficult. So I was like, should I do it? Or so I started to think about it and I was like, okay, I know it's going to take me a lot of time and effort to make it work, but I decided to do it, and because I feel like I get more pros than cons. I don't know, it's like for me, I don't see as a job, as a work. It's not like homework or something like that.
Yeah.
See as, I don't know, as doing articles and just searching about topics that I'm interested in. And also, I don't only, because as you know, English is not my first language. So I decided to do it bilingual because, well, if I knew Chinese, I would do it in Chinese too, but I only know English and Spanish because, school. So I decided to do it in English too because I was like, okay, I don't only reach more people to, share my content and that. But I also like, I don't know. It's like I also get to learn myself things because you think that you know a lot, but then you read an article in English and you're like, what is this? These specific terms that you don't know, that you know because of the classes that you do every day, but you don't know in another languages. So I decided to do it that way so I could learn myself.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. It's so good that you don't see X in the Lab, that initiative, as something that's work, because you really need to be passionate about something to have it last and keep going. And things like these, they can't be superficial, especially when you're seeking to spread knowledge and awareness about something that you're so passionate about. It's great that it's not this item on your to-do list, and that's something that's so important when youth create organizations, that it turns into something that can last and something that isn't just a task that you have to do, that you have to get done and you have to. It doesn't feel like this thing that's weighing you down, but it's something that you always look forward to doing. A question that I have is, how did you come up with the name X in the Lab? And what does it mean to you?
Well, it's actually funny because I was like, when I decided to create it, I was on a walk again, and I was like, okay, what name should I put? Because when I created the Instagram account, I put a dot or something like that. I just didn't know what to put. So I just did this, and I put it. So I was like, okay, I need like a good name, a name that in the future is gonna represent me and my brand, not something embarrassing that you're like, yeah, I'm this. So I was like, okay, and I started to think something about science. Um, I thought about someone in the hospital, something like that. I thought about doing it with my name, like Paula in the hospital, something like that. But I was like, no, it seems like a series or something like that. So I started to think, and I don't know why I thought something in the lab, you know. And I was like, okay, I have an idea, something in the lab, and I had a math test that day. And I was like, okay, and I was thinking both things. And I was like, okay, X in the lab, that was the story. I just didn't, and I was like, okay, it doesn't sound embarrassing, it sounds good. Then let's do it. That's the history of it.
I love that. That's so cute. Yeah, no, I think it's a really cute story too, honestly. I think for us, we were just kind of trying to come up with something, and we had like I think a list of words that we were just trying to like sub
Yeah.
in, to
Yeah,
determine. But I like your story so much.
because you want something to define your initiative, and you want it to resonate. And it's so cool that you started with X, actually, because that's like that variable term. It allows everyone to put their own name into it to read, oh, so and so in the lab. That's really cool. For us, actually, as Catherine said, we had a bunch of words, and we thought, what's the deepest, what conveys science and STEM and student life in the best way. And we ended up coming up with dimensions, thinking that, oh, well, science is multi-layered, it has so many dimensions, it's multi-dimensional. Dimensions Magazine, that's kind of how we derived our name. So there's obviously like different origins, and they're always funny to tell the story of how you actually came up with the name of your organization.
I think we're coming to the end of the interview. Is that right, Neha?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think on behalf of Dimensions Magazine, we just wanted to thank you for joining us today. Neha?
Well, it's an honor being here with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining to viewers how you actually came up with this idea for this organization, and how you got into science and your journey trying to become, someone involved in medicine, especially as a woman, especially given all of the different backgrounds you have and all the different perspectives. Thank you so much for starting your initiative. It's so great that you're able to share science with other people through a platform that so many people can access. And I think on behalf of Catherine and I, we hope you continue doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for being able to have this conversation with us today. And we hope to our viewers that you've been able to learn something from this amazing person and apply what she's explained to your own lives. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening again. Have a great day. Stay healthy, stay safe. And we look forward to having another conversation with you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.